Yes?
We should get moving.
Here we are. Now destroy that bloody rune.
Shouldn't we at least study it first? I mean, we don't know what...
Are you deaf? Destroy it!
Alright. I'll take care of it now. But I need... privacy.
Are you trying to trick me, dwarf? I swear, if you...
Fine, come then. Come and keep shouting at me all you like, because that's the best way to ensure I'll make a mistake and have that rune cause your sister's brain to explode.
Alright. You'll get your privacy. I'll go find a bed for Myra in the meantime. She needs water and food.
Alright, here we are.
Iskrim? What's the matter?
I won't do it.
What?
You heard me. I will not destroy the rune.
Are you joking? This thing is what's controlling Lady Myra.
Yes, it is, but there's something I haven't told you. Something I only found out a week ago.
Yes?
The Shapers. I finally understand their secret. Why they persisted for so long. Why during their reign there was not a single power who dared to defy them. Not even the dragons. Why there was peace.
The rune.
It all makes sense now. The Shapers used these runes to control, to ensure stability.
They enslaved their own people by exerting mind control. Is that what you're getting at?
Enslaved? So a murderer put behind bars is a slave too? No, Tahar. They used the runes to protect their empire from its enemies, from outside and from within. Don't you see? This is the reason why there were no wars, no coups, no stupid rebellions. Because the Shapers had the power to correct misguidance. And the best thing about it? The control didn't even suffer. They merely had their views readjusted and continued to live on a normal life.
And you think this is a good thing? Being able to bend minds to your will?
Look, Tahar, I'm not stupid. I know there's a danger in that power, but there's a danger in every power. Blasted, you're a mage. Thousands of people would like to see you burn. And just because they're afraid of that power inside you. Your magic, just like the rune, it's a tool. Don't you see that? And a tool is neither good nor evil. It's merely a potential. And this, Tahar, this is the potential to change the world for the better.
What about the ghosts who protected this place? They seem to have gotten more than a little readjustment.
Yes, Probably because their crimes required a more severe punishment. Isn't that poetic justice? Rather than killing a wrongdoer, he's bound to protect those he wanted to hurt. Just imagine the potential of this.
Lady Myra doesn't seem normal at all. She acts like some kind of machine.
Yes, because neither we nor the Purity have even come close to comprehending the true power of the rune. We're sodding amateurs.
So what's your plan? Use the rune to create a second Shaper Empire?
No, use it for the greater good. For us, for our purpose. For our battle against that lunatic Lacane. Damn it, Tahar. This might be the key that I've been looking for. The key for stability, for peace. I will not destroy it.
Iskrim, calm down. There has to be another way.
No, there isn't.
Iskrim, you've said it yourself. With Myra's current state of mind, she cannot help us win over the other houses. And without them, we'll never recapture Greykeep. Lacane will win. Please, you have to trust me with this. The rune must be destroyed.
Fine. Fine. But I'm doing this for you. You understand me? I will destroy it. But as soon as there's time, I will start my research again, and no, you cannot stop me. Agree with me or not, I know this power can do good. I just know it. It's done. Go see after Lady Myra, Tahar. I need time.
Fine. If you insist.
That's the way.
Tahar, what happened? Did the dwarf destroy the rune?
He did.
I see. Well, something is off. Myra, she's different.
What?
Myra?
I don't know. I feel strange, cold.
See? That bloody rune, it did something to her mind.
Lady Myra, what do you mean by cold?
Dark, empty. I don't know how to describe it. Forgive me.
But you remember who you are, don't you?
I am Lady Myra Emmeline Arendir, third-born daughter of House Utran.
But we destroyed it.
That's my point. Her mind, it must have suffered permanent damage. None of this should have happened. None of it. Myra, you should get some rest. Things might be different tomorrow.
Yes, brother. As you say.
Come, let us call your companions. There's things that need discussing.
I've been wondering, do you have a family? Heirs?
That question came unexpected.
Is it so hard to answer?
It isn't. No. I don't have a family. Save for my sisters.
How come?
Well, I'm afraid to understand my answer, I need to go back a little. You see, I had always known what my life would look like, long before it became what it is. You see, House Arendir is one of the eldest of Northander. The role of every Arendir had already been chosen the moment he or she was given birth to. For me, it was always clear that I would be the Lord Marshal of the Royal Army.
So your parents forced you to do this?
Let me put it this way. It was my duty. Of course, I could have rebelled, but even back then, I'd already come to realize that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Sure, I too had had my share of boyhood dreams, but betraying my parents and the realm had never been an option.
I still don't understand why becoming the Lord Marshal stopped you from having a family.
It was a choice. I probably don't need to tell you this, but love and marriage are as much a duty as any other. You cannot be a good husband or a good wife if you don't commit entirely. And the same goes for parenthood. And the higher I rose, the more I realized that people in my position, whose decisions affect the lives of tens of thousands, can and should only have one commitment.
Their duty.
Yes. I know it sounds dramatic, but it's the truth. I chose not to have a family, because the realm was my wife and its people were my children. Allowing somebody else into my life would have meant betraying the others.
Well, your dedication is definitely admirable.
Maybe. But we've wasted enough time. You wanted an answer, and that was it. Is there anything else you wanted to know?
I'll be leaving now.
All right.
Intriguing.
All right. Now that my sister is safe and we have the Utran army beside us, we need to discuss our course of action. As I've hinted at already, there are two more problems we need to take care of before we can gather to convince the other royal houses to join forces with us and reconquer Greykeep.
Lakane's Iron Ones, and the Leonida forces.
Iron Ones? You mean these giant walking armors?
Yes, we need to destroy the place where the Purity manufactures them. And we need to eliminate Amaria Leonida, who has allied herself with the Harbinger.
House Leonider has the strongest army in Nordhander. Would it not be wiser to forge the alliance with Wolfgar and Hallett first and then deal with them?
It would, but Leonider is controlling the borders. In other words, until we've taken care of her and the Ironborn, we couldn't move the Wolfgar or Hallett forces, even if they agreed to an alliance.
Any idea what these Iron Ones actually are? Golems?
No, I doubt it. They have the magical signature of a human. I guess we'll need to find out.
Yes, though I'm fairly certain the Harbinger's new magic has to do with it. The Archfire.
But if that's the case, how are we supposed to deal with them?
Well, according to my scouts, there is a place where they are being created by whatever unholy power is behind this. And it seems that this smeltery, if you want to call it that, is in the Windwall foothills.
So we travel to Windwall and burn down that factory. Is that the plan?
Yes, it's a simple task, but it won't be easy. We can be sure that the Purity is doing all in their power to protect it.
Amaria Leonida allied herself with the Harbinger? Why?
Because she's probably the most ardent follower of the Purity's teaching. She was the first truly influential Nortandian to repent when Lakane's new religion was founded, and also the first to declare her unconditional loyalty after Lakane showed his true face and took over Greyfell.
Could that also have something to do with what happened during the Mage War? That her sons fell in the last battle against my father?
I'm pretty sure it has. Did you know that she attempted to commit suicide? That was only months after the Queen had put an end to her father's doing. So yes, her loyalty to the Purity almost certainly has to do with her losses. She also despises you, as is Samo Tahar's child, from the bottom of her heart.
That's not good. How do you plan to neutralize her? We can't just move our army into Leonida territory. That would be suicide.
Well, that's where we got lucky. Amaria Leonida has taken up position in the Eye.
In the marshlands? Why?
My guess is as good as yours, but I suppose it has to do with your father's laboratory. I doubt Lakane is done with it.
So, Amaria is leading the army herself. How? I didn't know she knew about warfare.
Well, word has it that the Harbinger has, how should I say, granted Amaria a gift as a token of gratitude for her loyalty. Magical powers, in other words. Maybe even a part of this Archfire energy. No, I don't know if these rumors are true, but we'll have to consider them when we make our plan.
Well, seems like this will be quite the battle.
Indeed. Which is why we need a good strategy.
Fair enough. Then let's start making preparations.
Good. I'll be here if you need me.
Corporal Tahar,
What's the matter?
I have news. Bad news.
Report.
The Iron Falcons from Aeonir's Blade. They've sent word. A dragon has appeared near the canyon. An elder.
An elder? You mean...
Yes. From the legends.
what? But they've been asleep for centuries.
Well, apparently not.
Are you sure this isn't a mistake?
Quite sure. The Iron Falcons found 3 keepers torn apart and scorched in a way that only a dragon could do it. But what's even more alarming is that the Falcons believe that said dragon is heading our way.
Why?
I don't know, Corporal. I just don't know. What are your orders?
Where's the dragon now? Is it moving?
I don't think so. According to the Falcons, it has landed in a small oasis in the scorching desert. A 1 or 2 day journey from Aeonir's Blade. What will you do, Corporal? I know this war is already taking up all of your resources, but we cannot just stand by and watch while that creature comes at us, can we?
If it's a threat, we'll travel to the oasis and kill it. We can't risk that thing interfering with our plans now.
I understand. You want me to tell the others?
I'll do it when we head out. Dismissed, Private.
Sir.
That way?
Huh?
I'm still wondering what made you leave Kalea and travel the world to study demonology.
You're not letting this one go, are you? Alright, if your life depends on it, I'll tell you. To make it short, I grew up in the slums of Kalea. A shithole if ever there was one. Just imagine an entire quarter made up of half-ruined shacks with the smell of shit and piss everywhere, and way too many people. Then add the tropical heat to it, and you've got the place I grew up in. My father had left right after I was born. My mother is what you call a day laborer, though the days when she wasn't laboring outweighed the ones when she did. Whatever job there was, she took it. Even if it was cleaning the shit out of Kalaean canals. She worked hard, but it just wasn't enough. We lived in a windowless room, and I shared a bed with my mother for the first 14 years of my life. Long story short, after a while, my mother simply couldn't cover the expenses anymore. The rent for our room went up, and jobs became less and less, since the mage wars in Northander also affected the trade in Kalea. So my mother looked for someone to help her out, and found one. A man named Creo. He was a loan shark who had it all. A stupid name and a shady beard. 2 lackeys who followed him wherever he went. And above all, a complete lack of what other people would call decency.
I think I can see where this is going.
Sure you can. It's not the most unique of stories, is it? To cut to the chase, 1 year later we were in massive debt. Creo suggested my mother another way of making up for it. You can fill in the blanks. I was just too weak. Over and over, this fucking bastard came. Had my mother tell me to go for a walk. And every time I had no choice but to obey. Do you have any idea how that feels, Tahar? To be that powerless? I remember one day I looked in the mirror and realized how much I hated the boy I saw. I hated his body with all its frail bones, his small arms, his bloodshot wet eyes. And that's when I decided to change things. So the next time he came, I fought back.
How did that go?
What do you think? He beat me up. And it was the same next time and the time after that. At first he found it funny. But after the 4th time he threatened to kill me. The only thing that stopped him from doing it is because my mother begged him to. And I had only made it worse. On my 14th name day I left home and joined up with the Kalaean sand prowlers. My mother begged me not to go. But I just couldn't. Standing there and watching this fucking bastard walk into our room again and again whenever he felt like it, I just couldn't. Dying would have been better than staying. The way I figured it was that if I earned enough money to pay Mother's debts, Creo would leave her alone. Once I was strong enough, I'd come back. Wait for him to show up again. And then, well, you can imagine the rest.
I think I can. So who were these sand prowlers?
A group of mercenaries. They took me in and trained me. And even though they were skeptical at first, they quickly realized that my determination made up for what my body was lacking. When I was 16 and I discovered my magic, one of their leaders made me his apprentice. The arcane universities are a shithole made up of boy-loving old geezers who care more about how you wear your hair than about your magic. I'll tell you the real thing. And that she did.
Huh. So did you ever return to your mother?
Of course. On my 18th name day. I had wanted to return earlier, but a contract had me kept overseas for a lot longer than I had expected. Sorry. It's strange to talk about it.
What happened?
My mother. She was gone. Her room had been cleared out, and the neighbors told me she passed away unexpectedly just 3 weeks before I arrived. Her heart just stopped beating.
I'm sorry.
Why? It was a natural death. She was old when she gave birth to me, and the life on the Chilean streets isn't forgiving. In other words, it was bound to happen. I went into the room and looked for our stash. A small casket under the floorboards. I found it, opened it, and saw all the money I'd sent her over the years.
So...
She never used it to pay Creo as I instructed her. I have no idea why, but my best guess is that she thought it was mine since I earned it. She was that kind of person, you know? No matter how hard fate punched her in the face, she clung on to her ideals. Always did what was right rather than what was good for herself. And look what she got in return.
Did you ever visit her grave?
I did, but it was a mass grave. Dozens of corpses, all piled onto each other, and some earth shoveled on top of it. I threw up when I saw it, and never came back after that.
What about Creo?
Well, as you can imagine, I went to look for him. Right after I was able to think straight again. But he was gone.
Where?
I don't know. I asked everywhere and everyone who could know, and they either didn't or gave me different information. After a while, I gave up.
Why?
Because people like Creo are just a reality we have to deal with. I could have killed him, but what good would it have done? My mother was dead, and no amount of bloodshed and gut tearing could have changed that. The world doesn't give a fuck about your ideals, Tahar. About doing the right thing. That's just the shit we tell ourselves to help us sleep at night. You eat or you get eaten. It's that simple. I wasn't strong enough when I should have been. And that's why I couldn't help her. That will never happen again.
I guess you're right.
I am. To wrap up the story, I enrolled at the university from the money my mother saved for me. Turned out the Sand Prowler mage was wrong. There were some boy-loving professors, but they knew their shit. I studied and practiced until there was nothing left to study. Then I found out about demonology and the power in it. I quit university, and I've been traveling ever since. Taking jobs as a mercenary here and there, but above all, improving my skills. My last stop was Bar Gagora to summon a devourer.
Interesting story. Thanks for your trust, Uram.
Sure. Hope you're happy.
Sure.
Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
Would you be willing to tell me more about your friend?
You seem to be quite adamant about this, aren't you? Fine, if you insist. What do you want to know?
How did she... how did it happen? The blood burn?
Well, I presume you are familiar with how the disease progresses, so there's no need to explain that part. As for when and where, we were with a small caravan near Everlight, on our way back to Greyfell. We had made camp in a small forest when the symptoms first showed. An old man, one of the caravan leaders, started coughing blood. I think everybody saw, but they all acted as if they hadn't. From that point on, it went straight downhill. Almost 3/4 of the group were infected. And by the next day, a young boy had blood running from his eyes. Do you know what's strange?
What?
Up until that point, I didn't even consider the fact that Milo was infected as well. The thought just didn't ever cross my mind.
How did you find out?
A blister. On the third morning after that night in the forest, she took a bath in a nearby river and I saw it. That was it. I knew what would happen. And so did she. I insisted on riding back to Everlight and looking for a healer. An irrational thing to do, and I knew it. But I figured that a chance was better than none, but she wouldn't have it. I want to tell life when it's over, not the other way around. That's what she had always told me. And that night, it turned out she meant it.
She took her own life.
Yes. When I returned to the camp that night, I found a letter where she told me to meet her at a nearby clearing. I did, and found her laying on the grass, hands crossed behind her head, as if she was watching the moon. There was an empty bottle next to her, and I immediately recognized it. It was the merciful slumber, the most painless of poisons at our disposal. When you drink it, it's almost like falling asleep, very slowly. She was smiling when she faded away.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to ask?
Yes. Zaraka.
Alright, why not?
Tandai Tahar. Come to trade?
Come again. May Tiara
That's the way.
bless your...
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
There you are. Tahar, I found something incredible.
What is it?
Remember how I asked you for permission to examine your mother's body? Undergas and I did that yesterday.
So? Were you able to learn anything?
We did, and this is what I'm so excited about. That jewel in the front part of her cranium. At first, we thought it was simply an ornament to mark her as a member of the priest caste, but it's more than that. It has magical properties.
What kind of magical properties?
It's somewhat similar to the Harbinger's rune. It's essentially a magical talisman that made them smarter and stronger. Long story short, despite her spirit being gone, the ornament still seems to be active. I think we could remove it.
And what for?
As I said, the jewel is magical. If you wear it, say, as a talisman, it could increase your magical powers significantly. It could really help us in our fight against Lacane.
Isn't that dangerous?
I'm close to certain it isn't. The ornaments are really just jewelry, like a ring, only woven into the flesh. I think we can remove it without causing your mother's body any harm. But then again, there's no way of knowing for sure.
All right. Do it.
Of course. Give me a moment, will you? Shouldn't take long. All right, Tahar. It worked. Here, take a look. Can you feel it? It's amazing.
You're right. It's immense.
Well, I guess now we know why the lower caste revered the priests as gods. Telepathy, magical ornaments, they were almost superhuman, so to speak. Either way, I think it'll help you on the field. Thanks again for your trust, Tahar.
South of Leonida and east of Hallett lies the scorching desert. A place as inhospitable.
It's true. There's a dragon nearby. It's enormous.
So you think it actually is an elder?
My guess is as good as yours, Tahar. What I can tell you is that this thing has the power of 100 Devourers, or 36 Zarek Nar combined. And it's old. Very old.
That's comforting. Remind me, Tahar, why did we just bring one battalion here and not our entire army?
Because the Purity will notice if we move our entire army and could use the opportunity to attack. Right now, nobody knows we're here. Now let's head out.
Sure. Shit, that was a painful death.
And it wasn't caused by normal fire. These people melted.
This way, right?
Sure.
Here we go.
Let me see.
This one looks as though he's been mauled. And he's wearing an unusual armor, isn't he?
Huh. Do you see these crystals in his skin? They look an awful lot like the ones...
Up ahead.
Interesting.
Huh? Didn't expect to see travelers all the way out here. Tundea.
Tundea? That sounds Hibernian.
It does, because it is. We're Valis Draigin. Dragon hunters, as you'd call it. Which is why I urge you to head right back where you came from. There's a Yal Dragin, an elder dragon, just waiting to sink its fangs into you. As it has done with the idiots you've probably seen on the wayside.
So it's true. There's an elder in the oasis.
That's what I just said.
I think that dragon is here for me.
Are you sure? I heard it was here for that marvelous cheesecake they made in Everlight.
I'm not joking. There has been a magical outbreak 4 weeks ago. And I was responsible for it. We have reason to believe that this dragon is headed to our camp.
An outbreak, huh? That's what Pavlos said too. Well, if that's the case, you should probably talk to him yourself.
Valis Draigin? Whoever these guys are, they aren't Hibernians, Tahar.
What makes you think that?
Hibernians were 8 feet tall and had light green eyes and pitch black, slightly bluish hair. That guy looked more like a child at a masquerade party than anything else, and even his accent sounded put on. Queen Aelith is the last living Hibernian. All the scholars agree on that.
Tundea. I don't know who you are, but it's best if you turn around right now.
Yeah, we know the story. One of your men told us all about it. We're here for that dragon, same as you.
You are? Huh. Normally, I'd tell you to run as far as you can. But I have to admit, you people have an impressive aura. Tell me, how did you learn of the Dragin?
The Iron Falcons told us about it. We have reason to believe it's here for us.
Explain.
Well, you're a mage, right?
Yes.
Then I'm sure you noticed a shift in a magical pattern some weeks ago. One that also ended the bloodburn.
There have been a lot of magical oddities recently. But yes, I think I know what you're talking about. That was also when that Purity lunatic started creating his machines. So, what are you implying? That you had something to do with that shift?
So to speak, yes. We assume that the Elder sensed it and now feels drawn to me, for whatever reason.
Nonsense.
No. Actually, it isn't, Kivron. This is the first sighting of an Elder since the War of the Six Races. And back then, it was also a magical explosion that woke him. And this man isn't lying. His aura is remarkable, in every aspect. Listen, let me make you an offer. What would you say about joining forces? You are powerful, no question about that. But still, you and your little entourage won't be enough to go up against an elder.
Sounds good. We can use all the help we can get.
I'm happy to hear that. However, there's one more thing. No, two, actually. First of all, we want the heart and the eyes. Secondly, I'll need you to do a minor task for us first.
Why the heart and the eyes?
It's a custom. But don't worry. The scales and the claws will be more than enough to recompense you for your efforts. On that note, if you have the coin, I can also talk to Reeve and see if he'd be willing to turn those scales into an armor for you.
Aren't you a bit too generous? These scales must be worth thousands, yet you're offering to give them away for free.
We don't hunt for the gold, stranger. Also, the heart and the eyes are quite valuable too, but not nearly as useful to you as an armor. So we'd both profit from that bargain.
You're talking about a dragon scale armor.
Yes, but I cannot make any promises yet. Reeve can be complicated when it comes to such matters.
What minor task? We shouldn't be wasting our time.
You're absolutely right. We shouldn't. But I need you to do this. There's a small nest of wyverns just across the pond. We're still recovering from the last battle and haven't gotten around to taking them out yet.
So? Do it now.
We were going to. But if we're to fight together, my men will want to see a display of strength first. Ancient Hibernian custom. So, I suggest you come back once you're done. I'll talk to my men now.
Something you need?
That man, he wasn't telling you the whole truth. An elder's heart is worth more than 3 elder scales. Yes, made into an armor, they will be useful. But this Pavos made sure he and his men are on the long end of the stick.
Wow, I didn't know that. Let's play along for now, though.
I'll keep you shielded.
Get ready.
Regret this.
I'll take a look.
Sounds like a plan.
Understood.
You got it.
Not now.
Fine.
Damn it! I need healing.
Help me!
Not now.
That should be all of them. Let's head back to the Dragon Hunters. Now would you look at that?
Let's see.
Danger up
Rocket
ahead.
corpses. Take them down.
Not now.
Sounds like a plan.
Got it.
That way?
This way, right? Fine.
Is this really necessary?
Let's see.
Tandea.
We cleared out the nest.
Very good. I also told my men about my idea. And though they weren't exactly thrilled, they agreed to help out.
Great. Does that mean we can finally start doing what we came here for?
You're a bit too eager, considering what you're up against. But yes, we can start the hunt. I have already put together a plan.
Then fill us in.
We should attack from two sides. First, you and your people launch a frontal assault. Once you have the dragon's attention, we'll charge in from the side and drive that thing into the claws of Nor with our spears. Find a way to protect yourself against the dragon fire. Put on the same armor you'd use against a mountain-tall, ravaging ball of moon silver daggers. And don't even try to use blunt weapons against that thing. That'll do as much good as smashing your head against the Grey Keep walls.
All right, I got it.
Good. Then we'll move up to the bushes and wait for your attack. Good luck. And try to last more than a minute.
What do we need?
Zarek guides me.
Nihav's hammer. That thing is massive. Are you...
Tahar.
What the?
That is your name, is it not? Tahar.
It isn't attacking us. Why?
I think it's speaking to me. In my head.
You mean...
Telepathy, yes. It is the only way the two of us can communicate. An interesting group you have gathered around you, Shaper Child. Have you come to kill me? The way you cling to your weapons makes it seem so.
Tahar, talk to us. What's happening?
I think she wants to talk.
Maybe. I know why you are here. You are worried that I have come to destroy your city, Mullendeer, as I have done before.
Are you?
That was my plan, yes.
Why? What have we done to you?
It is not about what you have done. It is about what you will do. You are Zarlanthep, a shaper as you call them. You were asleep, but now you have awoken. And as all of your kind, you will bring doom to the world.
Tahar, what's it saying?
Wait, I don't understand. What do you mean by bring doom to the world?
It is impressive. All the clues are there, right in front of your eyes. Yet you do not see it.
See what? Maybe if you stopped talking in riddles, I would.
I am not talking in riddles. It has merely been a very, very long time since I have talked at all. But since you are not as much of a brute as I would have anticipated, maybe there is no harm in explaining. Before I neutralize you, that Zarlanthep, we the Elders, were the ones who killed them. It was neither spite nor hunger that drove us, as the myths would have you believe. It was because of what they had become, what they fancied themselves as.
Which was?
Gods. They had done what nobody should have. They had tamed the essence and learned to use it for their ends. You have seen the results. Enslaved minds, a world empire, telepathy, and the power to destroy life in a snap of a finger. They would have broken the world in two if we had not intervened. So, we did.
You killed them?
Yes. People misunderstand us, Tahar. We are not beasts like most people. We are watchers, and we do what the Guardians could not. The world is tiring, and life after millennia becomes a burden. We do not rejoice in it, but we have a responsibility.
How many of you are there? Elders?
Just a few.
So you are, what? Protectors?
Titles are inconsequential. But yes, you can call us that, if you wish.
Why?
That is like asking the water why it flows. Our drives, our wishes are ingrained into our souls, just as you, as every human, live to avoid suffering. We live to maintain the balance.
But I don't get it. Why kill me? Only because I'm half-shaper?
Yes. Since you performed the melding, you bear the same dangerous potential as your mother. And thus, you need to die. There is no malice in our decision. I am glad you came here with only a few of your allies. That means that fewer lives will be lost.
I'm not the danger. The purity of light is.
You both are. And after I have neutralized you, I will deal with the creature's servant.
There must be another way. We both want the same thing.
No. You want power, divinity, as any Zarlanthep wanted from the start. Your blood is corrupted, and so is your mind.
But you don't even know me. I may be a half-shaper, yes, but I was raised a human.
Does that make it better? Humans are as cruel, as vile as the Zarlanthep were. Only that they have not yet discovered the power. But once they will, the earth will shatter. Our kind is too tired, too weary for another extermination like the one in the Zarlanthep days. This time, we will not fight. But you, Tahar, you are only one person. One person that can be dealt with swiftly and without wreaking havoc.
It's preparing to attack. Ready yourselves.
So there is no way I can convince you.
You are insistent. Why, I wonder? Do you fear death? That is my only explanation.
Maybe. But also because you're wrong. I may be half-shaper, but I'm not your enemy.
Then prove it. Destroy the rifts. And prove that you are not like your ancestors.
The rifts?
Yes. Since the creature's servant, who you call the Harbinger of Light, has tapped into the essence, things have changed. A tear in the fabric of the realm appeared, and other creatures seeking to find their way through that hole. As of now, they are still between the planes. But that will change soon.
You want me to kill them?
Kill them and close the rifts. It will be dangerous, and it might cost you your life. But it will show that your words were not as deceitful as those of your ancestors.
Where are these rifts?
You cannot see them, but I will give you the ability to do so. They are centered around the place where the servant unleashed the essence.
Fine. I'll do it.
You surprise me. Well, Then stand by your word and return to me once you have succeeded.
Interesting.
So, you talked to it? What did it say? Why did it spare us?
I think it's a her. And it's a long story. I'll tell you on the way back.
So, we're not fighting it?
No, it's complicated. I'll tell you on the way back to Mullendeer. Now we should...
No! Yales Dragin!
No! Don't!
Oh, fools.
Sure.
That's the way.
Why didn't they listen? They must have seen the dragon wasn't fighting us.
I don't know. But they didn't leave us a choice.